Evening all, hope you're all okay. Right, sorry, excuse the quality of this video. I don't usually do them in the night, and then I got the light on and I can't get it to look tidy, so sorry about that. But anyway, it's just an update from today because I was down at the Senedd today in Cardiff with Public Child Protection Wales for a demonstration. More people turned up this time, which was better than last. Still not enough, obviously, but there was a lot of support there and they were great people. There was a heavy police presence there, especially at first. It is the Voice of Wales on YouTube. Have a look because they did the whole thing. And they noted a few times that this sort of intimidation wasn't done at the BLM protests. And it wasn't. The police actually helped them and walked with them rather than sort of, intimidating them. And they walked around everyone in the crowd and tried to sort of threaten them in some way with a fine or something. I mean, they came up to me, but it didn't get that far because she said, "Oh, you're breaking. We were giving you a warning because you're breaking COVID regulations." And I said, "I don't follow regulations." And she said, "Yeah, but this is a pandemic." And I went, "Funny you should say that, because I take it," and I printed it down and printed it off for me, off the government website, where they downgraded it on the 19th of March last year from a high consequence infectious disease. So I had it in my pocket, and I was getting it out of my pocket saying it to her, and she just walked off. So she didn't get as far with the, and I mean, nobody took any details. Everyone just basically told them to just go away. They were concentrating on the demonstration because we have to consider what this was actually about. And among all this COVID madness, right, there's something that's been totally forgotten about, and that's the child abuse, and how deep this actually goes. And this is obviously about the sex education that they're bringing into schools, and they have done. Actually, Wales is probably one of the only ones who haven't done it, although they're passing the legislation. And this is why people really need to understand what they're dealing with here, because it's the stuff of nightmares, I can assure you. And the girls today, Adele, Kim and Lucia, and were absolutely fantastic. They really were. And this time they went into more detail about the actual source of where this sex ed is coming from. And this is something I've spoken about before. I think it was about 18 months ago when I saw the All About Me program thing. It came up. So I had a look at it and I thought, this can't be right. It can't be right. And I needed to know the source of how they managed to get something so sinister and just disturbing into schools from age 3. So something came up back then, and it was called, the documentary I watched was called The Kinsey Syndrome, and it was about Alfred Kinsey. And it really shocked me to my core. And even me at that time, I'd been hardened to some of these stuff. I'd been researching Pizzagate, and I had to turn it off twice. This is nearly a 3-hour documentary. I would advise anyone to go and watch that documentary and then do your further research, because the Kinsey Institute still stands today. He was seen as some, researcher, and he's documented all of his work. But the problem is people don't actually go into detail about what that was, and it is horrific, beyond horrific. And today, they spoke, Kim and Adele, well, actually the three of them, they went into detail about who Alfred Kinsey was and what his research is based upon, and this is how they managed to get it through into schools. It's something that's happened back from the 40s. This is not something that's happened overnight. They wouldn't be able to, because we would figure it out. They sneak in the back door, and what they've done with this COVID is they've used it to sneak really disturbing things through the back door into your child's sex education. And you cannot opt out of it either. And these people are fighting for the rights of your children not to be sexualized in school, because that is exactly what's happening. It is beyond, like I say, beyond the stuff of nightmares. So rather than go into detail about about Alfred Kinsey, I'm going to link below I've forgotten the Voice of Wales, who were there today, independent media. I'm going to link that below because he covered the whole thing. And there are lots of people were recording, so you can find it elsewhere as well. you know, and they actually, this is what they're doing. They're using the COVID, like I say, BLM, they took a knee, you know, they actually did take a knee and they facilitated it. They allowed it to go on. But this one, when it's about child protection, and this was brought up numerous times to them, you know, this is, we're protect, if you've got children, if you've got grandchildren, because this is for your children too, you know, and it should trump anything at the minute, because it is the most, and people have forgotten about it, among all this ridiculous nonsense that's going on at the moment. And it's so vitally important that people get on board with this. It really, really is. Like I say, they were outstanding today, brilliant support. It was nice to see some faces that, you know, friendly faces that I know. And I did look at times that, especially one officer, and one police officer in particular, he was definitely listening. I could see he was leaning in and he was listening, and you know, it's a hard listen. It really is, when you're talking about Alfred Kinsey and his, what he did and where all this stems from, is a really hard listen, you know. So it is horrible. But this, if you don't do something now, they are going to roll this out. They are going to roll this out. They already have, you know, they've already done it to a degree, and it's the most disgusting thing ever. And they sort of guising it under relationships, and it's just, you know, when you see the content of some of this, in fact all of it, you would be shocked. And the thing is, you know, parents are not informed. They're not, they think they are, but they're absolutely not informed. The teachers are not informed either. You know, they don't know what's going on, and it's coming really, really fast. And what it's going to cause, it's just beyond, it's just so that they, you know, when you look at it into a, you know, even going beyond that, when you realize who's in charge, and the positions of power these people hold, and what their intention is, things will start to become clear. Nobody wants to accept that this is reality, but it is. So we can't ignore it. How on earth can we ignore something like this? You know, and I think the police, well, they should have been, because the girls did a good job of bringing things to light, of, you know, sort of shaming them, because this is their job. They're supposed to protect us. They're public servants. They're supposed to protect the people, and you know, actually stop trying to stop a demonstration when we're talking about child protection is just beyond words. It really, really is. And I think maybe halfway through, when some of them were listening, perhaps because I have a feeling that they were surrounding us at the beginning, you know, trying to intimidate, and there were a few wagons, and there were, you know, a couple of police cars and whatever, and you know, maybe they did have the intention to sort of do something, until the content started being, and I mean really started being spoken about, the real detail of it, perhaps shocked them to think, you know, right, should we be stopping something like this? But then they went ahead and sort of, I think they gave them a caution or a fine, or is going to, but you know, that's absolutely defendable straight away. Just give me the fine, I'll defend it in court. Don't be so ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But I just want to say, the girls were fantastic, absolutely fantastic today. They got it all said, and you know, the shock factor is sometimes what people need. And parents, you need to go away, you need to read into this, you need to look at it. It's gonna, I'm not gonna lie, as a warning, it's gonna disturb you. It really is. Some of you won't, you know, it's really going to disturb you. But if you don't understand what's going on, you're not going to move and do anything about it. And the next time we're having one is on the 1st of March, I believe it is. I'll make sure that, you know, I'll double check with Kim and Adele and see that that is definitely the case. But that's the next one that we're going to be doing. So this time we need to see more of you there, because, you know, we're fighting for your children, and they're going to be, they're already doing it. I mean, they do it through the screens all the time, but they're going to be sexualized from 3 years old, taught about masturbation, taught about anal sex and bondage at age 11. My daughter will be 11 in July. I mean, she's not in school because she's, you know, she's home educated. However, the thought of that, especially when I know who's running it, this is the thing, you know, it's going to open a lot of questions, more questions up for you to go away and have a look. But that's you have to go away and have a look what's going on, because it's too late already. It's too late already. But Wales still haven't put this through yet. And, you know, I think we got it in us to stop it, but we need your help. We can't do it without you. This is all for the children. It really, really is, because you don't understand how deep and dark this actually goes, and for the intention behind it. And let's not forget that paedophile information exchange ran for a decade before the internet. They're rife now, obviously, because they got the internet, but they ran from I think it was 1974 to 1983. It was an open paedophile intelligence exchange. What do you think that means? You know, sorry, paedophile information exchange. That's they were out in the open with it. Same with NAMBLA. You know, these are things you really have to take note of, because this is an agenda that they've pushed gradually since the 40s, and the intention is to abolish the age of consent completely, so that grown adults can rape children and call it love. This has got to stop. And they go, the best way to indoctrinate your children is through the school, because it's the easiest way. And that is what they're doing. And we don't want this. We don't want this for our children. None of us want this, whatever level we're on with anything else, right? COVID, whatever. None of us want this for our children. So we really have to band together. I'm going to put the link below for the Voice of Wales underneath. Thank you to those guys. And yeah, so we need to get the information out there as much as we can. It's all there. It's all there. Go to Public Child Protection Wales and all the documents. They just read them and do your own research, and then please join us on the 1st of March, and please, you know, get in touch and branch out, because this is the biggest problem on this earth, and they're using all avenues to do it. And if we don't do something soon, we can't go back. So we need everybody on board. And I just want to say again, thanks for today. It was, you know, although not a massive turnout, just thank you for the people who came, because this is where it's at right now. And let's not lose sight of it among all the COVID crazy madness, with things being snuck under the cup in the background behind closed doors. Things are being sinisterly put in through. You know, like it's these people who were at the Senedd, these people who were in, you know, the child commissioner, the people who were in charge have done nothing to protect these children at all. And in fact, all the information that's given them, they're being pushed back and told it's just misinformation. Well, you can decide for yourself if you think it's misinformation, but make sure you read all the information and see what's there. And it doesn't even take much digging. After you've watched the Kinsey Institute, that's going to blow your mind. I'll actually put that in here as well, just for those, you know, who can't be asked to look. But anyway, I'm going to go now. Like I say, sorry about the quality of this. It's really bright and weird, but I don't usually do them in the night. So I'll speak to you soon, guys. Take care.